If your Etsy shop has fewer than 1,000 sales, there are certain things you should never do. Because if you keep doing these things, you are never going to grow. I've shared my simple sales strategies with over 2,408 Etsy sellers inside of the sales sprint. And these are the same mistakes I see holding new digital product sellers back every single time. So in this video, I'm going to share the 6 things you're probably doing right now that you should stop immediately. Starting with number 1, never make your shop about you. Because unless you are already a well-known Etsy seller, nobody is coming to your shop for you. They don't know your story and they likely don't care. Here's what your future customers are actually looking for when they land on your Etsy shop. They are either trying to solve a problem, save themselves time, or find something that makes their life easier. So this means your keywords and your thumbnail listing photo are doing most of the work. They are making a promise about what your future customer is going to get if they click on your listing and purchase. So before you publish another listing, ask yourself one question. What will my future customer actually gain from this product? Then your keywords and your main image both need to answer that question instantly. If a potential buyer can't tell what's in it for them within a few seconds, they are going to scroll right past. And then we have number 2, never make profit the priority. Time and time again, I see new digital product sellers base their product based on how much time and effort they put into it. So they'll spend hours designing their product and think, this should be $15 when all of the other similar listings are either $8 or less. But pricing based on your effort makes no sense to your potential customer. They don't know or care how long it took you to make the product. All they see is the price tag next to 0 reviews and 0 sales. Imagine 2 food trucks parked next to each other. One has a line of 20 people, the other has 0. They have the exact same menu and the exact same prices. You are going to look at that empty truck and assume something is wrong with it, even if everything is identical. That's exactly how buyers see your Etsy shop with 0 reviews and 0 sales. And this is especially true for people who just go on Etsy and copy what's already on there. So instead, you need to approach pricing one of 2 ways early on. The first option is to add extra elements your competitors don't have. Things like bonus templates, extra pages, a quick start guide, whatever fits your product. And then you are going to charge the exact same price as the similar listing. That way, potential customers feel like they are getting more value for the same amount of money. The second option is to run a limited time sale so your price sits right below your competitor's pricing. This can help you get sales and reviews early on much faster. I personally prefer option 1, so you are not racing to the bottom on pricing, but both options work. Reviews and repeat buyers are what actually build a real sustainable shop. Getting 1 sale is nice, but my goal for you is to get a sale from a customer who leaves a review and comes back to buy from you again and again. Profit will come, but trust has to come first. And that brings us to number 3, never worry your niche is too small. Now, it's easy to assume that if you've already niched down and you're not getting many sales, that maybe there just aren't enough buyers interested in what you're selling. For example, if you sell homeschool planners to moms with ADHD and you're not making many sales, maybe you're thinking, there's just not enough of those people out there. But in almost every case, that's actually not the problem. Yes, having a specific niche can take a little longer to gain traction, but that is not because the buyers aren't there. It's because Etsy's search algorithm needs time to figure out who your buyer is. Think of it like Etsy running a series of small tests. Every time your listing shows up in search, Etsy is looking to see who interacts with it. So who favorites the product? Who clicks it, who buys. And it's using all of that data to slowly build a profile of your ideal target buyer. So if your niche is small and specific, it may just take Etsy a little bit longer to run through those tests so they can lock in your ideal audience. But once it does, things can speed up really fast because niche buyers tend to have similar shopping traits. Once Etsy learns those shopping traits, it makes it much easier for them to find more buyers for your shop. And if your product is really helpful, those buyers may even promote it for you. My ADHD cleaning bundle got shared organically in a Facebook group from a customer who found it helpful, And I ended up with 90 visits from Facebook in one day and making $212 in revenue. And there's another benefit here too. If you are in a massive oversaturated niche, you are competing with shops who have years of sales history and reviews. But if you go specific, it'll be much easier for you to stand out and become the go-to shop for that specific thing in that niche. So the niche isn't saturated. What's saturated is that everyone is trying to sell the exact same thing. So a small specific niche isn't a bad thing once you have the sales data to back it up. It may actually even be working in your favor. And that leads us to number 4. Never share your shop with just anyone. I see so many new sellers make this mistake. They share their shop link in random Facebook groups or with family and friends, hoping to get some extra traffic and support. And I understand why people do that, because getting more traffic and views is a good thing. But here's the problem. The people in those groups usually aren't your ideal buyer. Some are just curious, some are trying to copy your designs, and most of them have zero intention on actually buying. So they'll click on your listing, look around for a few seconds, and then leave. And that is exactly what tells Etsy your listing isn't worth promoting. When a lot of people view your listing, but none of them favorite it or actually buy anything, that can lower your listing engagement rate. And a low engagement rate tells Etsy that buyers aren't finding what they're looking for with this product. And I am not just making this up. Etsy literally says it in their seller handbook. They say, new shops and listings start with a neutral listing engagement rate. When a new listing is created, it gets a small temporary boost in search results, so Etsy search can quickly learn more about how shoppers interact with it. To determine a listing's engagement rate, we look at things like clicks, favorites, and purchases. So the fix here is simple. Only share your shop with people who are actually going to buy what you're selling. Do not chase random traffic for the sake of getting views. It's better to get a few views that turn into multiple sales than to get a lot of views that keep your dashboard stuck at $0. And this is why I spend so much time inside the sales sprint showing new digital product sellers how to make listings that are so good Etsy will promote them for you. Because when your listings are created the right way, you don't have to go beg for random traffic in Facebook groups. Etsy does most of the marketing and promoting for you. Now let's talk about number 5. Never model listings older than 12 months. Instead, only ever look at listings that have either the bestseller badge or the popular noun badge, and they have a listing age of less than 12 months. Now, there are a lot of Etsy gurus out there telling you to study the top shops in your niche, the ones with tens of thousands of sales. And then they say to basically recreate those listings. And at first, that can sound like a smart strategy. But the problem is, a listing that's been around for 3 years has had a lot of time to get clicks, favorites, and purchases. That kind of trust and momentum doesn't just transfer over to you because you copied their product. What worked for that product back then may not be what's working in the algorithm right now or what buyers are interested in getting. So instead, this is what I tell my students to do. Open up Etsy and type in a broad search term for the type of product you'd want to create. So for this example, we're going to use Canva template. Now, using the Everbee Chrome extension, you're going to click Product Analytics. From there, you can filter listing age with a max of 12. So this just means you are going to see listings with an age of 12 months or less. Then you are going to study these listings and put your own spin on them. And if you want to try using Everbee, you can use the link in the description where you'll get 1 month free of the growth plan, which is the plan that I use. And the reason this works is simple. If a listing style, format, or idea is already gaining traction within the last year, that tells you it's working with today's buyer and today's algorithm, not based on data from 3 years ago. So it gives you a real current blueprint to model, so you are not just guessing. When I first started my shop, I didn't look at listings from shops who were making 6 and 7 figures. I looked at newer, smaller shops who were just starting to take off because I knew if something was working for them right now, then it had a better chance of working for me too. So go into Everbee, set your filter to maximum listing age of 12 months, and study what's actually working right now. Next up, we have number 6. Never delete a slow listing. So many early stage sellers list a product, wait a week or two, get barely any views, and then delete the product. And that's because they assume it's not going to work. They expect that when they hit publish, they are instantly going to get views and sales. But that is not how Etsy works. Etsy needs time to test your listing and show it to multiple types of shoppers so they can figure out who the right shopper is that is going to buy your product. So a slow start doesn't mean your product is bad. It just means Etsy hasn't figured out who it's for yet. And what most early stage sellers don't realize is that while your product is sitting there, Etsy is still collecting data on it. Every click, every favorite, every purchase is giving Etsy more data to work with. So it may feel like nothing is happening, but Etsy is quietly collecting data in the background. I'll give you a real example from my shop. I have a budget binder that barely got any views when I first listed it. For a long time, it was not performing, but I didn't delete it, I just left it there. And 2 years later, that budget binder became my best-selling product and started bringing in over $200 a month. So don't delete anything. It may not be a bad listing, it probably just needs more time to work. And the fastest way to get Etsy to test your listings the right way from day one is to use these 5 money moves I talk about in this video. So if you want to know exactly what to do to get cha-ching notifications every single day, click this video right here.